How you doing? This is Ross Makaya here at Freehaven Farms, and I'm just gonna take a minute to share some tips about how you could do some early season planting in a way that's effective. I'm not gonna give you the whole breakdown, just give you a couple of tips that you could use for yourself. Right now I'm about to plant some spinach. This is some spinach that was started in the greenhouse. I didn't grow them in the greenhouse myself. I have some people I work with that have some great organic practices and use high quality seeds. So they started these for me, and they germinated them and got them to a nice point where I can put them outside. Before you put your vegetables outside from the greenhouse, you want to what they call harden them off. So that means put them outside and let them get acclimated to the weather and your local environment before you put them in the ground. It gives them a better fighting chance. So these have been hardening off for a couple of days. Actually, I should say a couple of weeks, and now they're ready to be transplanted. One of the most important things, obviously, when I transplant these is to put them in soil, fertile soil that has the nutrients that they need. Dog doing this thing, Smokey. Anyway, this soil right here is it's a compound that I put together. It consists of, you know, my famous recipe. It's my secret sauce that makes sure that everything's gonna grow. The most important things you need, nutrients you need in your soil, is nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. So I made sure that this has that. Also, you want to make sure that you have good drainage in your soil, but at the same time, it's not too sandy, in which it doesn't retain the nutrients that it needs and the moisture to feed your plants. So there's a mixture of a lot of different things. I'll just give you a couple of hints. I put some organic level peat moss in there that conditions the soil, and it makes it real happy. It's great for drainage and conditioning. So there's definitely a good amount of peat moss, and you know, you use what you want to use. I had used something here which is basically what they call warm poop, organic base, but that's nitrogen. You know, that's giving me some healthy source of nitrogen. I choose to grow organically. I don't use synthetic fertilizers or pesticides, insecticides, any of those things. I just use what nature provides, and I compost a lot. Anyways, all that is in this soil that I have. So if you come over here and see this grow bed, you'll see what I already prepared what I want to transplant my spinach to. So I open up the holes, I space them accordingly. My spinach plants don't get too huge. They I can space them about 6 inches, so I can maximize my grow bed and give them enough room to be happy. So I already opened up my rows, I spaced them, counted them. I know what I'm working with. So now before I transplant, what I'm gonna do is take this real good soil that I just made up, and I'm gonna put it there in the space where I'm gonna be transplanting my spinach to. Now what that's gonna do is ensure that these roots that touch the soil are gonna instantly be fed the nutrients that they need. And as long as I keep them watered and happy, hydrated, they're gonna grow really fast because of the nutrients that they're getting at the onset. It's a lot like a baby. When it first comes out, that baby gets the nutrients from the mother's milk that's necessary for that baby to stay healthy, and really that's the best thing for it. And right now these plants are basically babies, and we want to make sure that they're getting those nutrients to fight off anything that may be inhibiting their growth, and then really give them a boost at the onset. So I'll take the area, just do a few right now. Now I'm going to transplant the spinach into. I'll basically fill the hole like that, and I'll separate my spinach here right here you can see healthy root growth. These white veins, those are the roots, those are healthy. Some people rip those off. I don't. I keep everything intact. So I'll come to this hole that I just put the good soil in, and I'll make sure that it's deep enough for this whole pod to fit inside. And while I'm doing that, I'm putting that good soil in there. I'm mushing it in the bottom, I'm mushing it around the walls of this hole, as you can see. And then I put the plant in there. And what I fill in around it is some more of this high grade soil that I just created. And I really firm up around that pod so that those roots set in, and those nutrients are gonna, as soon as I water them, it's the watering of the plants that has them draw the nutrients up. So it's important to make sure that you water them immediately after you transplant them. It's very key. When you're taking them out of their pack, you want to squeeze the bottom of the pack and basically try to pull from the base of the pod. If you could do it from the soil, good. Sometimes you might have to touch the bottom of the stem. It's a delicate process. Work it out, because you don't want to damage that little baby plant that we just talked about. So once again, I'm making that hole a little bit bigger than what I originally made, putting the good sauce in there, packing the walls, putting it in the bottom, making sure I have enough depth to hold that pod, placing it in there, and then basically packing that good soil in around. So that's just a couple of tips on how you can boost the growth of your seedlings that you transplant right now. It's springtime, so it's about to be that time when people get their hands on their seedlings from the greenhouse. Those of you who aren't planting from seed, I have some things planting from seed, but I love to start certain things in seedling form, especially spinach. I love spinach, and I love to give it a head start. So anyways, that's just a couple of tips. I hope it's helpful. Stay in tune with us. Check out our website. It's going to launch next week, freehavenfarms.com. This is Ras Makaya checking out. One love.